Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with Kansas City Jazz trombonist Brian Scarborough. He talked about the new debut 2020 CD, Sunflower Song, and this new COVID-19 jazz world. This album will be released on Outside and Music's Next Level recording label in August 2020. The recording features 9 original compositions, and we discussed all of the particulars of how he found out there was going to be no more live jazz, but with recordings still out there for folks to listen to. We talked about all of that and so much more. Enjoy.
Hey, Joe, how you doing?
Hey, good, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right, all things considered.
Oh, man. Yeah, this is quite a David Lynch screenplay we're all tripping around through.
Yeah, this has been a weird couple months. You guys, you and your family doing all right?
Yeah, you know, they got a monopoly on this thing, so we don't have any choice.
Right.
But yeah, you know, it's you make it work. At the end of the day, it's all life after all. I mean, you know, I've always kind of felt like throughout this whole thing, the group of artists that are probably the most well equipped to deal with this are jazz musicians, because all you guys deal with is improv.
Right. Yep.
You know,
rolling with the punches. Yeah.
That's it. The unexpected. So, but. You know, you got an album coming out, and, you know, I did hear from one musician, which I thought was very interesting, is that, have you thought about the fact that this is going to come out during, I mean, technically this quarantine period of our lives, and there could be a special set of circumstances to a release during this time?
When we recorded this record back in January and finished mixing it and got it mastered in March, but we finished mixing, you know, the first week of March before too much of this had all come on, and so, you know, it was already kind of headed that way. We sent it off for mastering, and then that was kind of when all this stuff started snowballing. So we, you know, the project was done with all of the in-person work for the most part, and I talked with the label a little bit, and they had said, you know, if you guys want, you're welcome to, you know, we could revisit, you know, release dates if you want to, but if you also feel confident and just want to go ahead and do it, like, we'll just stick to it and work hard to get it out and get the word out. So that's what I opted to do, just because, you know, I just want to get it out, and I'm excited to share it with people, and, you know, maybe it will be an exciting thing for somebody to come across, or maybe somebody will enjoy it amidst all of this chaos. You know, even though it comes out in a couple months, who knows where we'll be. So it just felt kind of right to just go ahead and continue to work on it. So,
well, I was really excited. I get a lot of packages from Outside of Music, and I got it the other day and opened it up, and immediately the artwork and, you know, just jumped right out. And my son, actually, this morning we were getting ready to leave, and he saw it and he was like, ooh. I mean, he just totally gravitated towards it and loved it and held on to the album and just peered into it. So,
did you get a physical copy?
Yeah, they sent me a physical one in the mail. Yeah,
nice, cool.
Which is,
yeah,
I love that. I love rolling with CDs in the CD chambers. So,
yeah, no, I had a pretty specific vision for, like, the artwork and everything, and my aunt is terrific. So when I spoke to her about it, she was like, I think I know where you're going. And then not too long later, she sent me some pictures, and I was like, this is amazing. And then the way it kind of all came together, I wanted it to be, you know, this is a special thing. It's not something you get to do very often, is release a record. So I wanted it to be a piece of art, you know, from everybody's first experience with it, that it's like they see the cover, that's the first thing they're going to see. They're not going to hear anything first. So I wanted it to be special and kind of stand out.
So you got 9 originals on this. You got a great group of cats around. You talked to me about constructing this.
Again, I've got a great group of musicians. It's my regular band here in Kansas City. So it's Matt Otto on tenor sax, Adam Schlossman on guitar, Jeff Harshbarger on bass, and Brian Stever on drum. And for me, that finding the right mix of people was important, because, again, prior to, you know, the desire to make a record, the desire to just have a great band. And I wanted it to feel like a band and not like a collection of great players, which the band, you know, all the members are great players, but it's just that when you get that group together, there's like a special thing that happens that really helps elevate the music. And then the band kind of over, you know, various performances started taking more chances, taking more risks, and just kind of developed a vibe of its own, which was exciting and something that, you want to create, but, you can't force, and there's no way to really guide it. It just kind of has to grow. That was an exciting time, and again, bringing into new music during that time, and even some of the older tunes on the record, how they kind of evolved over the course of that several months, was really amazing. So it kind of came into focus of, I think it's time to document this. I think making a record it's a balancing act of, for me it was, over the years trying to find my own voice as a composer and an improviser. But also, if you do that forever, then you may never put anything out. So it is kind of a balancing act, and there was just something that felt right, and I kind of just decided to jump on that feeling, and it just felt like this was the right way to go for kind of a debut album. So.
Yeah, I'd say so. We kind of talked about this a little bit, but, releasing this and having it out, people have more latitude to listen, so you can't necessarily back this up live. What are your feelings on that?
It is interesting. We do have a CD release show. I believe it's scheduled for Sunday, September 20th at the Record Bar here in Kansas City. And, it's, the regular band is scheduled, so it's all of the normal people that are on the record. And, it's September 20th at 7 p.m. So we do have a scheduled kind of release party. Now, again, like you said, it's tough to know, how that's going to look. Maybe we'll be back to normal and performing, and there'll be an audience, or I don't know. Again, some of these things might be up to the venue. If it's a live stream, there's just all sorts of kind of things that come into play. Or, maybe we'll be in a situation where we're just not able to have the CD release party at the beginning, when we want to. So that's the plan at the moment, is to, get together and perform all this music in full, and celebrate the release and have physical copies of the album there. But in the event that it does get pushed back, I know that we will do one at some point, even if it has to be, 6 months later. That's okay. Well, it's a big accomplishment, and it's something that I'm very proud of too. So, I'm not gonna let it rain on my parade. We'll get the release show, happening when we can, and celebrate not only, just the collaboration with my band, but everybody's hard work, and just kind of a night to kind of relax and enjoy and reflect on what we did, and also maybe, kind of start to look to the future too.
Yeah,
use it as a launching pad for future stuff.
So when we do come back, let's say it's September, which that's one of the most optimistic pieces of news that I've heard in a long, long time. And let's say that when we get back and everybody's listening to music, what do you hope both the musician and the audience realizes about this process of live music once they do return?
I think, it's just the magic of a live performance, and especially in this kind of jazz context, it happens once, and it's going to happen that improvised way one time, and the song is going to take on this life of its own in its own unique way once. Same with the improvisations, and then just anything that might happen in performance, And then I do a fair amount of theater work as well, and I think, that element of just being able to take people on that journey of through the story of the show, I think is just going to be powerful to experience that in person. So, I think it's something that I've done, and I know a lot of people are doing right now, is watching, maybe concerts or videos, live streams, or old things on YouTube, or, and it's magical, but there's something about being in the room, with everybody while it's happening, there's that electricity that, it's just part of the performance. So, I think that's one of the things that I miss a lot. Right now I can practice all day, and some days I do, but you just, it's hard to replicate that electricity and that energy that you get from just being in a room with other musicians that you're creating with on the fly. And so I'm hopeful, though. Again, I'm hoping that people will be longing for, that interaction with any live art, painting or poetry or music or anything, just to have that experience.
Yeah. Well, and I think art saved a lot of people during this time. If we did, we talk about frontline workers, but if we didn't have musicians and artists and actors to help lead us through and give us stories to follow, I think we'd be in a much, much worse shape.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Brian, thank you for taking some time out. I've enjoyed the album. Like I say, I drive around, and that's my thing. I really want to drive and listen to it, and I've really enjoyed this album. It's impressive, and I actually look forward to being there, hopefully at the Record Bar when this is released, and watch it live for sure.
Well, yeah, thank you. Again, the record comes out on Friday, August 7th, and then the single, this one's for John, comes out, and it's July 10th. A couple of dates to look forward to, and I'm just excited to get this music out there and get on to the next project. So
thanks, Brian. Good luck with everything. And again, man, I look forward to seeing you all out there whenever it kicks back out.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest cats in Kansas, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Brian for his time, music, and stories. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino in the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.